How are you all today? Reverend Lisa stole my opening remarks. I was going to say, not to be fooled. The month has not gone past you that quickly. It is good to be here to see all of your wonderful smiling faces and to receive your love and to share some love with you as we begin to share on this topic for this month, prayers released. I want to acknowledge your practitioner today, Mr. Tommy Cross, for his wonderful words of inspiration. Prayers released. In moments of distress and moments of worry, fear, there are often writings of inspiration that we turn to for relief and for solace, a place that we'll all go to for some comfort. And one such place that often we all find so familiar is the 23rd Psalm. It's a place of inspiration. It's a place where we have all heard for so often, for so many years, and we journey to that place very quickly. And there's a phrase in that inspiring prose that I absolutely love. And that one particular phrase is, "Yea, though I walk through the valley and the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." Imagine that. Now, this valley of death, as is referred to in this phrase, doesn't necessarily refer to a time when we are making the transition from this moment to another, but it can refer to a time of challenge, a time of despair, a time of depression, a time when we are dealing with things that we feel that are absolutely beyond our control, and we find ourselves in that valley. But you know, as we listen to the writer of that prose, when he said, even though I might be there, I find comfort because I realize that there is something there with me that is providing me with assistance. And you know, we have to be cautious so often when we find ourselves in those moments that we don't slip into a place of separation. You know, so often when we find ourselves in a moment of depression, times of being discouraged, times of dealing with a multitude of challenges, be they physical for ourselves or for someone that we love, be they financial, be they emotional, be they whatever. We may find ourselves in those moments, and in those moments we have to be careful that we don't slip into a place of separation. And by that I mean that we slip to a place where we become disconnected from the I am that we are. You know, so often when we're dealing with challenges, we forget all about moments such as this one. When we're here in a situation like this and someone is sharing something of inspiration. While we're here in this moment and we're hearing those inspiring words, we're encouraged, we're uplifted. But it's when we leave this moment and go to the next, or when we are alone and we're dealing with news that we just don't want to deal with, and we find ourselves absolutely discouraged. That's the time we really need to hold on to those moments of inspiration and those words that have been so encouraging to us. Now, we are taught in the science of mind that it is our belief which sets the limits of something that is unlimited in its ability to assist us. You know, belief is a powerful thing, and it's up to us to determine how we're going to use our belief. So often when we turn to this 23rd Psalm for inspiration, we read and or hear words of inspiration, and they work for a moment. They work for a moment. Then all of a sudden those words are lost. And you know why those words are lost? Because we've heard them and we may have been inspired by them, but we don't believe them. We don't really believe them. And it's because in our inability to believe them that they don't really impact us. It's sort of like, if you will, you remember the writings of the parable. And it shares with us this idea that the sower went forth to sow, and he sowed seeds one day. And some seeds he sowed on shallow places. And because those seeds were sown in shallow places, there was no depthness of earth. So they didn't have the ability to create a root structure, something to hold on to. And so when the sun came up, it said that the sun withered them and they just died away. And for us, so often, that's the same is true for our beliefs. You know, there is no depthness of that which we claim that we understand and accept as the truth. And therefore, in the time of challenge, in the time of our own storms, they don't seem to assist us. The sun then becomes our challenge, and it dries up our belief, and it causes everything that we've held true to become withered, and for us to lose. It's in moments like that that we even turn to prayer and we become repetitious in our words. We're just saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. And if you notice, you pray so often, you say the same things over again because you don't believe what it is you're saying. You're saying things that you heard someone else say, and you're saying things that you don't quite feel. You know, prayer is something that we need to feel as well as say. And so often we're saying things, we're not feeling it. We're saying things and we are not hearing it. We're just speaking words that have no real meaning, words that have no real impact upon our understanding. They are not impacting our situation. And we continue to do it. And after a while, we just become frustrated with the whole process that we call prayer. And some of us become so frustrated that we just get mad at God. And we blame God that everything is going awry. And it's because, once again, we have never really became solidly rooted into our core belief and understanding. And therefore, at the time of our challenges, nothing seems to work. It all dissipates. Another thing we hear so often, I'm going to ask you to join with me in saying it right now, that is the Lord's Prayer. Let's say that together. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us away from temptation, and deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Now just think, for the number of years that you've been on this planet, and you have said that same prayer over and over again, ask yourself this question: do you believe it? Do you believe it? You've said it many times. Are you really even conscious of what it is that you've said? See, oftentimes we pray because someone else told us that's the thing to do. We don't pray because we absolutely feel that something is going to happen to us, something is going to happen through us, something is going to cause great impact in our circumstance as a result of it. It's just that we're caught up in a situation and we're just grasping. We're trying to grab a hold onto any and everything. But all of a sudden, none of it's working because we're just saying words that do not have any impact into our understanding. We've not focused on what it is that we are saying. We're saying it because someone else said, say that. And because they said, say it, it has no real meaning to us. And because it has no real meaning, it has no real impact. You know, we've heard speakers come up and they've taken that prayer, they've pulled it apart. And in pulling it apart, we dissect it. We'll be able to look at what it is that we're saying, analyze these words, and then give these words meaning. But right now, I invited you to say that with me, and you said it, and I asked you to just question your own understanding for a moment. Ask yourself, did I believe what I said, or did I just say that because Dr. Ronnie invited us to say that? Or maybe even in another situation, someone else invites us to say it, you say it, but it does not cause any change to your circumstance. You know, it was the late New Thought teacher, Joseph Murphy, who taught this. He says that effective prayer is the moment when we focus our thinking and fully accept the answer to our desires. Now, the only way we focus our thinking is we become conscious of what it is that we are saying. And when we become conscious of what it is that we're saying, we may say a different word, because different words have different meanings to different individuals. We may use a different phrase because a different phrase may have a different impact upon us. Now, personally, I believe that effective prayer involves a process. Okay? And in this process, the process is more than us just reciting the 5 steps of treatment that we were taught in Science of Mind 1. So often someone said there's a process in prayer. We run to the steps of treatment. We start the recognition, the realization, the unification, thanksgiving and release. And we think, okay, now I understand that I can pray effectively. But understanding that just gives you a structure. It gives you a place to start. It gives you something to focus on as you begin to say something that's going to impact your situation. But I'm saying that effective prayer requires a process that's more than that. And that process involves things like this. First, there has to be creation of a mental equivalent of the thing that you seek in prayer. When you are starting out in prayer, what is the purpose? You want relief, you want to bring something into your experience, you want some demonstration. What is the purpose of your prayer? Someone that's dealing with a challenge and they're entering into prayer. What does remission look like? What does it feel like? How does it alter your circumstance? How does wellness feel? Examine yourself right now in this moment. Everyone that's feeling really good and you're not dealing with any health challenges or situations. You got up this morning and you were vibrant and everything was working. Make a note of that. Make a note of that. So the next time when it's not and you need to pray for wellness, you have a place to focus. You know what it's like. You know? What is it like and what does it feel like if everything is well in your emotional state? What does it feel like if your financial situation is okay? So you make a note of that. So in that instance when it's not, you can then create a mental equivalent of what it is that you are seeking. You want prayer to do something. What is it that you want it to do? And that what that you want it to do, what does that look like? What does it feel like? What does it act like? What is the end result? Secondly, have you positioned yourself in a place of power? You know, so often in our prayer time and our prayer treatment, we feel as though we're not powerful, and that's the moment that we should exert the most power. You know, we were taught as we read the ancient writings, Jesus said this, that except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. And what is being born again other than our ability to shift our thinking, to redirect our focus, to have a new analysis of what it is that we are gifted with. You know, the Apostle Paul came after him and he wrote this. He said, you know, let this mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus, who came in the form of God, but thought it not robbery to be equal with God. You know, now that's different. How do we allow that mind to be in us? That mind that gravitates so easily to the understanding and acceptance of the Christ consciousness. You know, so often when I come, I often remind us that we are that place that God goes forth into our world as that which we are. We are the instrument that it uses to reveal itself in all that we can do. We are the tool. We are all of this and more. And that's why I think Paul wrote that, let that mind be in you, the mind that refused to see limitation, the mind that absolutely accepted that all power resided within oneself. Can we believe that? Can we accept that? That's the whole purpose of prayer, for us to understand that we are using this power, that something so wonderful has been concentrated within us. And then at the time of our adversarial changes, we bring it up to the surface and we begin to use it. Curtis Holmes says the same thing Paul said, but he says it a different way. He puts it this way: the infinite, eternal God is the impulse of man's thought, the spirit of his person, the power back of everything he does. God is the power by which you think. Imagine that. God being the power by which you think. It is that animating force that is constantly alive and moving within each of us, generating new and wonderful ideas and letting us know that we are empowered to give that idea life. Now, here is the greater question out of all those that I asked this morning. When was the last time you prayed like a God? When was the last time that you prayed like a God? Jesus said, is it not written in your law that ye are gods? Then if that's the case, when was the last time you prayed that way? As opposed to feeling that in your prayer you had to beg for something. That in your prayer you had to negotiate for something. That you didn't approach prayer from a place of belief and expectancy, but from a place of hope and wishful thinking. That's not praying like a God. That's praying like someone that's not clear of who and what they are. That's praying like one that's not absolutely certain that the life that is within them is the life of God expressing itself by means of them. So prayer is not our time to retreat. It's our time to move forward, knowing that we are victorious already. That the thing that we need, we have. And our turn is to bring it forth now in a very visible way. So that means, once again, positioning yourself in power. When is the last time you have done just that? Ask yourself this question. Can I really truly believe that about myself? So I can say all these wonderful things all morning, but they mean nothing if you are unable and unwilling to accept that this is the truth of who and what you truly are. I don't know the things that are going on in your world, nor do I need to know, but you do. And you should accept that you have the power to alter it all. That's your desire. It's not accident that you're here today listening to this. You're probably hearing a word that someone else spoke previously, but now, by my mentioning it, it rings once again in your understanding. And you begin now to apply this to any and all things that are going on as a part of your experience. That maybe now I should change my approach to prayer, because I can say that yes, I've been born again. I'm thinking a different way. My understanding has shifted. The way I analyze everything is absolutely now being twisted. I'm seeing things from a place of power rather than from a place of weakness. And I'm positioning myself to do just that. Affirm these words with me, if you will. God in me.
God in me.
God as me.
God as me.
Speak words of light and life through me.
Speak words of light and life through me.
Now, just focus for a moment on what it is that you are saying, okay? And let's say it once again. God in me.
God in me.
God as me.
God as me.
Speak words of light and life through me.
Speak words of life and life through me.
Now, I've asked you to affirm this. You've done it slowly so you can understand what it is that we're saying, but now I need you to feel what you are saying. And let's do it one more time. God in me.
God in me.
Now, when you say that, try to feel that presence as it permeates your entire being. Because in that moment of distress, in that moment of depression, in that moment of challenge, when you are positioning yourself to deal with whatever it is from a place of power as opposed to a place of fear, you're going to speak words of life that are going to be rooted in your belief and understanding that God in me, God as me. Speak words of life and life through me. Now, those words of light and those words of life are the words that one might need to alter their understanding, alter their circumstance, change whatever it is that they're dealing with, take them from the place that they are and promote them to the place where they want to be, move their understanding, cause them to understand that they are not alone, that this is when you are walking through that valley. That rod is God, that staff is God, that is the power right where you are all the time, and you are able to use it.
Yes.
Very simply, by understanding very simple principles. You know, there is nothing so difficult in prayer, and therefore our expectation should be that something happens as a result of prayer. Something more than frustration. That change is our expectation. Change is going to be that which is the result of our words that are spoken. Every day, every moment, you have an opportunity to speak a new and much more powerful word into your own understanding. Every moment, you decide whether to retreat into your past and do things like you've done previously, or to arrive at a place where you say, today is the day of my new birth. I have been born again. My changing, my thinking is changing. My perceptions are changing. I see myself in a new light. And in that light that I see myself in, it is brilliant. I know that I am a channel of divine good. I can feel the divine presence moving through me. And through my mind, I can see change everywhere present. Everything is good. Everything is new. And therefore, I'm going out and creating even greater good for myself. There are going to be many, many moments of depression. We are all going to be challenged by a whole multitude of things. But nothing will ever be difficult unless that's the way you make it. Nothing can be unsurmountable unless that's how you think of it. The moment that you understand that you are greater than your challenge. The moment that you understand that you can climb over any mountain that is before you. The moment that you accept so completely that greater good is that which is unfolding for you each moment, is the moment that you understand your real connection in your own divinity. Then prayer released. After you position yourself, after you have seen it, after you've understood what it is that you are trying to do, and you know that you are powerful and that you can pray as a God, then do that. Now, everyone that is able to, I'm going to ask you to stand. And if you're unable to, I want you to stay in your seat and just follow along in your seats. Now, while we're standing, we're going to have a prayer. So while you're standing, why don't you lift your hands with your palms upward in a receptive attitude, receptive stance. And you do this because you're expecting something, not because you just need to hold your hands this way. This is being symbolic of your being ready to receive. Then just close your eyes for a moment. And as you stand there, with your hands uplifted, your eyes closed, just take a deep breath. And with that breath, release it and know that here we stand together in this divine presence. God, being everywhere present, is here right now, operating through each of us in a divine and magnificent way, moving so completely without obstruction. Every cell within our being begins to rejoice in this new understanding that it is one with God. And therefore our bodies are re-energized even in this moment. Any and all things that are unlike the divine nature is removed from our understanding and thus removed from our experience, physical and otherwise. And we banish that away from us into the place where it began. Today we open our minds to a new idea, a greater realization of truth. To understand that we are that place, we are that instrument, we are the space where the divine operates. It moves through us in such a magnificent way, strengthening us, empowering us, giving us greater vision. In this moment, we see the greater good which is rightfully ours. And as we see that good, we lay claim to it. We know that nothing good will ever be withheld from us. So we move from this moment to the next, victorious. And it is with this understanding that we are indeed grateful. We know that this word that we speak cannot fail us. For we place it in a place that has no doubt, a place that is all powerful, a place that is all encompassing. And therefore, in this newfound realization and the acceptance of the same, we are grateful, and therefore we release it. We let it go. We know that it is done. And therefore, we join together and we affirm, and so it is.
And so it is.
You may take your seats. Now, when we ended that prayer, our last statement was, and so it is. Now, we don't just say, and so it is, because we want you to know that we are practicing New Thought people. We don't say it because we have something against saying amen. We say it because we are signifying that that prayer now has been released.
Yes.
We're letting it go.
Yes.
Letting it move from this place into a place of unfoldment.
Yes.
Causing that which we desire now to begin to unfold in our understanding as well as to unfold in our experience. To hold on to it, we're not going to go back and repeat the same thing, because if we tried to repeat it, we couldn't, because we felt what it was that we were saying. So we were in the flow, and while we were in the flow, we spoke whatever it was that we needed to speak. We spoke it as one in unity with Spirit. One in unity with all the power and presence that there is. And then in complete faith and acceptance of that, we release that into an atmosphere of expectation. And then we let it go. Very simply, we let it go. Folks, that's prayers released. As opposed to prayer held unto. Your theme for this month. Prayer release. And so it is our release mechanism. That's how we let it all go. So when you leave this moment, and as you go into your next week, and you have your prayer times, speak your word, but don't just speak a word, feel the word that you are speaking. see what it is that you desire, and then let it go in complete expectation and acceptance that something is happening to you as it is happening through you. Peace and blessings to you this morning.
Thank you.